Hey everyone. So last time I talked to you about how if you are experiencing anger and it's coming from pain, and it's coming from pain from a wound that you experienced, and your wound is legit, then your anger is legit. And today I want to talk to you about the gift that is inherent in anger. We've talked a lot about how anger gets a really bad rap, and those of us who are naturally inclined to respond with anger to pain, we can get criticized and we can get shamed and we can get judged, and you have a problem and you're yucky and all the rest of that. I want to talk to you today about the real gift that anger can be. So, if anger is coming from pain and that pain is caused by a wound and that wound is legit, what that means is that you have suffered an injustice. And if you have suffered an injustice, or if we're talking like on a global scale about injustice in general that we all can experience and we're all aware of in our world society these days, injustice deserves to be corrected. Now, when we respond to pain that's from a wound that's legit, therefore it's from an injustice that we or someone else has suffered, if we respond to that by crying, crying is incredibly healing. It's very cleansing. It's very cathartic. I mean, I have definitely spent times in my life just literally sobbing pain out. And it's very cleansing and it's very healing and cathartic. But what it is not is it is not mobilizing and it is not empowering. And that's what anger is. Anger, that is the gift that is in anger, is that it is empowering and it is mobilizing. And if you use it the right way, and if you understand that your wound is legit, therefore your anger is legit, you can be empowered to take action, to do one of two things: either to go back and correct what has gone wrong, or to move forward and make change in the future. So I want to speak to you guys from my own personal experience. So, I've mentioned in several other videos that I was raised by abusive parents who were zealous members of a religious cult. In that cult, I experienced physical abuse. My father beat my sister and I with a 2x4 as he spanked us. I experienced emotional abuse. I experienced religious abuse. Then I left that and went into a 20-year marriage that was also very abusive. I was accidentally married. Unknowingly, I was married to a closeted gay man. And obviously, being gay is not a crime. Being gay is not abusive. He was born gay, but he wasn't born a liar. Lying at that, in that kind of all-encompassing fundamental way, standing up at the altar and saying, I love you and I want to share my whole life with you, when the truth was that he's not attracted to women. So that a lie on that level, okay, you know what? I just think all lies are abusive, but certainly a lie on that level is very abusive. So that's just kind of a nutshell of some of the big experiences that I've had in my life that have caused me pain. And because I respond to pain with anger, I have dealt with a lot of anger in my life, and I have had many, many, many experiences of working through anger. And anger from a wound that is legit. So when I was in my marriage, I had so much anger from my pain. But the problem was, and the tragic thing was, because I'm sure you may be thinking, so why did you stay for 20 years? Good question, because it was a pretty miserable experience 99.9% of the time. But the reason why, and I was angry the whole damn time too, by the way, because I was in a lot of pain, so I was very, very angry. The reason why my anger over my pain did not mobilize me to get out of that marriage is because I did not see my wound as legit. And a lot of the reason why that was is because I did not see myself as having value. I did not have the self-esteem that I needed. And that's a whole nother discussion for a whole nother video. But I didn't see my wound as legit. I did not see myself as someone who deserved not to be wounded. And therefore I didn't see my anger as legit. What pushed me over the edge to start to have anger that became mobilizing for me was when my ex-husband began to be abusive to our daughters. So when he turned on them with the same kind of criticism and harshness and strictness, and it was a lot of verbal abuse is what it was. And when he turned on them and then I saw their wound, well, that was easy to see their wound as legit. And I'm a mama bear. So you hurt my babies. When my babies bleed, I bleed. So when I saw that they were being wounded and I could see that their wound was legit, oh, the anger that came up inside of me. And the gift in that was I finally got off my ass and did something about it. That anger mobilized me to change those circumstances. The thing is, and anger will do that for you. If you see your wound as legit and if you see your anger as legit, then you're going to take action, right? The thing is that the trick is that you want to be able to let go of that anger once it's done its job. Once it has given you the gift of making change in your life, you want to be able to set it down. So when anger is ripe, it's incredibly powerful and it can be hugely empowering and impactful. But hold on to it for too long and it becomes poisonous. It spoils and it becomes poisonous, and then it's really going to really cause you a problem. And this is where when people say to, when you hear people say, you need to let go of that anger, or you need to, you shouldn't be so angry or whatever, sometimes those observations can be legitimate. If you're holding on to anger that has spoiled and it is beginning to poison you, then it is legitimate. And I told you guys, I'm a Martha Beck trained life coach, and I work with loads of clients who are reclaiming their lives either from the experience that I had in my marriage, which means that they are called straight spouses, or they're reclaiming their lives from religious abuse. And then I work with other people who are just wanting to reclaim their lives from other very difficult situations they've gone through. And when I'm working with them and they're in the middle of their anger and their anger is really productive and their wound is legit, their anger is legit, and it's super productive, and I can see that it is mobilizing them and it's empowering them to make the changes that they really need to make for themselves, then I am all about that anger. I am all about that anger. But once that change has happened and once they have moved and shifted into a new place and they're there and their anger is still there, then what I worry about and what I work with my clients on and what I had to work through and figure out myself was, do you really want to lose everything that you worked for because you're now holding on to anger that has become poisonous? One of the analogies I often give my clients is like, so anger is a tool. And if you use it as a tool like a hammer, you can build yourself an entirely new experience or an entirely new life if that's what you needed. That's what I needed when I needed to get out of my marriage. I needed to create an entirely new life for myself. So use anger as a tool, like a hammer, to build a whole new house for yourself. But imagine what it would be like, and imagine what would happen if once that beautiful new house, that beautiful new life and experience is built for you, and you still walk around with that hammer all day long. You're trying to make your coffee with the hammer in your hand, and you're trying to, shower with the hammer in your hand, and you're walking down the hallway with the hammer in your hand, and you are wanting to, open the blinds with the hammer in your hand. You're going to start to damage and wreck the brand new house that you built for yourself. And so anger is just like that. When you use it, use the gift that anger is. Allow it to mobilize you to make the changes that you know you need to make, because you deserve not to suffer the wound that you've suffered from the injustice that you've experienced. So you deserve to create a new experience for yourself. So do that. Build that new experience for yourself. And once that new experience has been created, put the anger down. Put the anger down, because if you don't put the anger down and move into forgiveness, which we can talk about in another video, that whole concept of forgiveness, when you don't put that anger down, it's going to begin to poison you, and it is going to begin to ruin the beautiful new experience experience and the beautiful new life that you worked so hard for. So I want to leave you with a quote from one of my absolutely favorite people in the whole wide world who's no longer with us, which is Maya Angelou. She was such a goddess. She was such an incredible goddess. And this is what she says about anger. Forgive me because I'm going to read it. If I try to just say it from memory, I'll probably screw it up, and I want to get it right. So she says, use that anger. You write it. You paint it. You dance it. You march it. You vote it. You do everything about it. And that's the gift of anger. If you legitimize your wound and you value your anger, you can use it for incredible positive change. So I love you, and if you're an angry person, I value your anger. And if you have anger that is moving you to make positive changes in your life, you're getting 2 thumbs up from me, and you have my vote, and I am behind you 100%, and I affirm you making all those amazing changes, and I legitimize your anger because I know it's from a legit wound. And once it's done, once you've made all those changes, I support you in letting that anger go. So anyway, I would love to hear from you guys. I'd love to hear about your experience with anger. I would love, love, love to hear about things that you have changed in your life and powerful changes you've made because anger mobilized you. I would love to hear about that. I hope you like this video. I hope you share it. I hope you give me a thumbs up. And that's it. Love you. Bye.